Hi, I'm Mark from easylawnmowing.co.uk and this is the LUBA Mini AWD from Mammotion. In this video, we're going to test this mower, we're going to go over the specifications, we're going to get it set up here in my back lawn and also have it go out to my front lawn and mow there as well. And by the end of this review, you'll know whether this is the right robotic lawnmower for you and your lawn. So before we take a closer look at this LUBA Mini AWD, we need to get it unboxed. So let's do that now. Let's see what comes supplied in the kit. We'll go over the specifications before taking this out and testing it here, both on my rear and front lawns. All right, so let's get it unboxed and let's take a closer look. Okay, so we've got our LUBA Mini AWD unboxed now. So what do you actually get supplied in the kit? So naturally you're going to get the mower itself. So this is the 1500 model, but there is also an 800 model. And I'll be explaining a little bit the differences between them in the specifications later in this video. So you get the mower itself. I'll tell you more about that later. You're also going to have a little bit of assembly to do. So the camera module comes separately and that just needs to be screwed onto the mower itself, and I'll be showing you that later. You also get your charge station included. You also get a little visor here that just slides onto the charge station as well. You get your RTK station provided as well. So I'm not going to actually be using this because I already have the LUBA Mini out on my lawn. I don't know if you can see it in the background there. It's doing a mow at the moment. So I'm going to be connecting it to the already existing RTK station that I have, but naturally that's provided. You also get your wall bracket here. So what you can do with this, you can have it extended like so you can screw that to that can go onto the wall, and then essentially your RTK station will sit like so. You can also, if you want it not sticking out as much, you can screw this smaller piece into the bracket here and then just have the smaller piece onto the wall like so, and then your RTK station. The other option, and the option that I'm using there with the LUBA Mini, is that I have this in the ground. So you are provided with the spike. So the spike just screws on to the base like so. There's a little protective cap there. You can see there's a spike and it just goes into the ground. So there's your options for mounting your RTK station. And I do have also some exciting news about the RTK station that I'll go over in the specifications, which is just about to be released in April 2025 here in the UK. You also get your wall brackets as well. So if you are going to mount this on the wall, Mammotion even provide wall brackets as well. You get a little brush as well, a stiff brush there for cleaning underneath the deck, which is a nice touch. You get a spare security key included as well. You also get a spare pack of blades. So that's 6 pieces in there, 6 pieces of blades, but we'll have a look under the deck in the specifications a little bit later. You also get your clips and your ground screws. So your ground screws with your Allen key there for screwing this down to the lawn. So I'll be doing that and showing you that later. You get 2 power supplies. So one power supply is to power up the charge station. The other power supply is if you want to charge or power up your RTK station separately. So you can have the RTK station anywhere on the side of your house, separate from the actual charge station itself. So that's why you're provided with an additional power supply there. And you get some nice long cable as well provided there for your RTK. You also get a hex screwdriver provided. So Mammotion are just literally throwing everything in that you need to get this up and running, which is really nice. You get a user guide and you also get your quick start guide here as well. This piece here is just your antenna for your RTK, which just screws it on like so. Okay, and that's pretty much it. So it may look like there's a lot of components here, and the installation is complicated. It's not. It's so super simple to set this robotic mower up, and I'll be showing you that a little bit later. Okay, so that is what you get in the box with this LUBA Mini AWD from Mammotion. Okay, so that's what you get as standard in the package, but what I wanted to do is just tell you what optional extras that you can go for. So essentially, naturally, you're going to be able to get your consumables like your spare blades, but one of the other optional extras is a solar panel. So this is really fantastic because it means that you can position your RTK station anywhere that you can put the solar panel, so you don't need power to supply that. So I'm planning to have this on my pagoda there at the back of the gardens, and I'm going to have this south facing, and that's just going to get the sun all day, and it's going to power up this RTK station really nicely. There's also a battery pack in there as well, so that's going to charge up and it's going to keep your RTK station going. So it really does give you flexibility of where you can position that, because naturally you need to ensure that this gets as much satellite or much view of the sky as possible to pick up as many satellites as possible. So it essentially needs to see the same satellites as what the robotic mower or the LUBA Mini can see. There is some really exciting news. It's already been released in Germany. It's called iNavi, and it's being released in the UK in April 2025, and then other countries are going to follow on as well. So what that essentially means is that you don't even need the RTK station, which is absolutely incredible. So this is the kind of technology that you find on combine harvesters and farm machinery. So if you ever wondered how they get those exact straight lines, well, it's because they're using that type of technology to guide them. There's no RTK station, separate RTK station, it's all built into the machine. And this Mini, and also the Yuka Mini that I have working on my lawn at the moment, is also built in with that technology. So when that's released in April 2025, you're not even going to need the RTK station. Absolutely incredible technology that Mammotion are building into their robotic mowers. So this does have a 4G built-in SIM, data SIM. So with the Minis, you get 1 month free. But if you go over to the website and have a look at the cost, it's really very, very minimal, very reasonable costs, ongoing costs per year to have that 4G service. It also extends the range between the mower and the RTK station as well, having that 4G service. But I have plenty of Wi-Fi here in my rear garden and my front garden, so I'm not going to opt for that service at the moment. But I will be testing out and doing a separate video on that iNavi service when it's released in April. Okay, so that's pretty much the optional extras that you can get with your LUBA Mini. Okay, so in terms of assembly, there really isn't much assembly to do with the LUBA Mini. So all you need to do really is to attach the camera. So the screwdriver is provided. So you just pop in the hex side of the screwdriver. So just pop that in like so. So you've got the hex there ready. So all you do is got the label on here to remove. So you just take that off. This panel comes off. And then you just connect up your cables here. You can't get them wrong. They're all individual. So you just basically connect these up to here. So I'm just going to do that now, and then I'll show you how you screw this in. So the first one I'm going to do is this one. Okay, so that's your first one done. Then I'm going to connect up the white one. So the white just goes into the white. It can only go one way, so you can't get this wrong. And then the black one clips in as well. Again, can only go one way. Clips in. So that's all three now connected and securely attached. So all we need to do now is, using these 4 screws, is we just need to get it screwed down onto the actual mower itself. So I'm just going to remove this cover here from the camera. So you can see you've got the 2 cameras there. And then just make sure that you don't have anything trapped in here, any of the wires trapped. And then that just sits into position. And then using your screwdriver, you just screw it to the base. Okay, so I'll go round and do all 4, and then I'll show you how to put the cover on the charging station. Okay, so that's our camera module fitted to the LUBA Mini. So all you do now is to put this cover onto your charge station, and it's really easy. It just slides in and locks into place like so. So I've got it just under the lip here. Clip back, and then that's just locked nicely into place. If you would like to see a full review of this LUBA Mini AWD, then head on over to the easylawnmowing.co.uk website. There's also comparison tables there that will help you choose the right model of the LUBA Mini AWD. There's also helpful articles to help you choose between the LUBA Mini and also the Yuka Mini as well. There's lots of helpful articles, discount codes, so head on over now to the easylawnmowing.co.uk website. Okay, so let's go over the specification of this LUBA AWD Mini Robotic Lawnmower. So there's two different models essentially that you can get here in the UK. So you've got this one here, which is the 1500, and you also have the 800. And I will tell you a little bit more about the differences between the two models, but essentially the 1500 means it will cover up to 1500 square meters, and the 800 is 800 square meters. So if you're in the US, the 1500 is 0.37 of an acre, and the 800 is 0.2 of an acre. So that'll give you an idea of the coverage that you're going to get with the two models, and I'll explain why there's a difference between them in a moment. So let's have a little look at the mower itself. So I tested out the full-size LUBA 2 AWD. I'll put a link to that review above this, but what this mower does is it opens up the market to people with smaller lawns. So if you had a smaller lawn, let's say 500-600 square meters, you would really consider going out and purchasing a robotic mower that costs thousands of pounds or thousands of dollars and does 3,000 square meters. It's just overkill. And that's where these minis come in. So you have the LUBA Mini, which I currently have working out on my lawn there. It's cutting half my lawn. It's doing a fantastic job. And I've left half of my lawn to test out this LUBA as well. So it opens that market up to people with smaller lawns that want a robotic lawnmower that has this kind of technology. So in terms of the navigation, gone are the days of putting a perimeter wire around your lawn. This is incredible technology that's built into these Mammotion robotic mowers. So you have the GPS or RTK, which is guiding the mower, but then you have the camera on top. So if you remember with the early LUBA, if there was lots of trees in your garden, for example, and it lost GPS, the mower would just stop. So what Mammotion have done is they've fitted this camera module now to the LUBA 2 and also to the LUBA Mini, and that helps this to guide it around your lawn even when it doesn't have any GPS signal. Absolutely fantastic technology. As I mentioned, you get an RTK station with this, which needs to be set up, which has a good view of the sky. So I'm just going to connect this now to my RTK station that's working with my LUBA Mini. So the thing to remember is if you have a LUBA 2 or a LUBA, a full-size one, you can't use the RTK station with the Mini. You have to have the Mini RTK station with it. That's just something to bear in mind. So you also have the 4-wheel drive with this LUBA Mini, which is great. The LUBA is only 2-wheel drive, but this one is 4-wheel drive, and you have those Omni wheels on here on the front as well. So that means when the mower is turning, it's not going to be scuffing your lawn. It's not going to leave patches of wear on your lawn. Really nice to see. So let's go over a little bit about the specification of this. So in terms of connectivity, you have a built-in 4G module in here, but it is also Wi-Fi as well. So you're going to get 1 month free with the LUBA Mini. You get 1 year free if you go for the full-size LUBA of data, but the data plans are extremely great value for money. I had a look at the pricing and it's very competitive, and it really is negligible in terms of the functionality that 4G module is going to give you. I'm not going to go for that because I have Wi-Fi both in my front and rear gardens, so I'm just going to be operating this on Wi-Fi. So initially when you connect to it, you're connecting to Bluetooth, you're then getting it connected to your Wi-Fi, and then it's good to go. So the first thing I would always do is upgrade the firmware on it and upgrade your app. Just yesterday there was an app update which adds lots of functionality to the Mini range, because remember this Mini range is new for March 2025. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm going to turn the mower over just so that you can see. So you've got two handles here which allow you to lift the mower, where this yellow is here. So I'm just going to gently put that on its side. Okay, so you've got a 20 centimeter cutting width here, which is 7.9 inches, and you've got your 6 blades there as well. So we've gone from 5 blades on the LUBA to 6 blades here on the LUBA, and as I mentioned, you've got that 4-wheel drive as well. You can see here that there's not the guardrails that you had on some of the other LUBAs, which tend to get clogged up with grass, and it is quite wet, the grass here. We are in March, there's been a heavy dew on the grass, so this is going to be a really good test. We'll have a look when it's finished mowing underneath the deck and just see what we've got there. Okay, so I did say that I would tell you a little bit more about the differences between the 1500 and the 800. Okay, so if I just get my specifications up here so that I get it right for you. Okay, so with the 1500, which I have here, you're getting a 6.1 amp hour battery. So with the 800, that drops down to a 4.5 amp hour battery, hence the reason you're getting those longer mow times with this one. So I've already mentioned 800 square meters is the 800 and 1500 square meters is the 1500. So what that means is that the 800 will mow an area of 180 square meters before it needs to recharge. The 6.1 amp hour battery, this 1500, will do 250 meters before it needs to go back and recharge. In terms of charge times, the 800 charges in 160 minutes and the 1500 is in 200 minutes. But you don't really need to worry about those charge times because this is just going to go out, keep your lawn mowed really nicely. It's going to go back and charge and then it will go out again if it hasn't finished when you schedule this, which is fantastic. And what I will be doing is showing you it cutting my rear lawn, then going down to my front lawn and cutting the front lawn, and we'll set that up. We'll create two zones and we'll create the channel between the zones as well. So another difference between the 800 and the 1500 LUBA Mini is the amount of zones that you can cut. So with the 1500 you can cut 15 zones and with the 800 it's 10 zones. So plenty of zones there to allow you to schedule different areas of your lawn, or actually different lawns if you want to do that. So I did mention that this is four-wheel drive, and the slopes that this can handle is absolutely incredible. And if you compare it to some of the competition, you'll see that these lubas actually blow a lot of the competition out of the water. So in terms of the slope, you're getting 80%, yes, 80% slope this can handle. That's 38 degrees of slope, and that's really going to cover most lawn layouts here in the UK, in the US and Canada as well. As you'll see here, you have a rain sensor on top as well, which is great. So this will detect the rain and it will go back to the charge station and wait until it dries up before going out again. Fantastic. You'll notice here, unlike the Yuka, you don't have the dial for adjusting the height. So this is all adjusted through the app, and that's great because it means I can have one height on one zone and a different height on the other zone, unlike the Yuka that's currently mowing the lawn there. So the other nice thing that's changed really with the Mammotion mowers is the battery. So if I turn the mower around, and I'll show you where the battery is. So the battery is here behind this cover. So there's 4 screws there, that cover comes off and the battery comes out just as it would with any other cordless garden tool, which is great. So the mower is not built in, the battery is not built into the mower, where if there was an issue with the battery or you want to change the battery, it needs to go back to the manufacturer, it needs to be opened up and that kind of thing. You can literally change this battery yourself. It's user now changeable, which is a great change that Mammotion have introduced. So that really does give you peace of mind going forward, that if in 2 or 3 years time you want to change the battery has depleted, you can simply order a battery and just change that yourself. That's a really great touch. Okay, with regard to the cutting height, so I mentioned that they are adjusted through the app and they can vary between the zones, but what are those cutting heights? Now there's 2 different options. So you have the standard and you have the H version. Now the H version is available in the US and Canada. It's not available here in the UK or Europe. So, and that is really just to essentially cope with the thicker, longer grass that you have in the US. So the cutting heights. So the standard version is 20 millimeters to 65 millimeters, and that's 0.8 of an inch to 2.6 of an inch. Now, if you're in the US or Canada and you opt for the H version of the LUBA Mini, then you're going to get 56 millimeters is going to be your lowest cutting height to 100 millimeters cutting height, which is 2.2 inches to 4 inches. So you can see with that H version, the cutting height range is a lot higher to deal with that thicker, tougher grass. You also, with the Mini series, that's the LUBA Mini and the UKA Mini, you have a light on the front here. So there's a light here, so this mower can actually mow at night as well, which is fantastic. And I've already tested the nighttime mowing of my LUBA Mini, and it's so great to be in the house looking out at night and seeing that headlight going up and down of the robotic mower mowing the lawn. Okay, so that's pretty much it in terms of the specification of this LUBA Mini. So another great feature of both the LUBA Mini and the UKA Mini is a service called iNavi, and it's from Mammotion. It's exclusive to Mammotion, and what it essentially does is it eliminates the need for you to have an RTK station. So you don't even need to take this out of the box. This is how Mammotion have progressed their robotic lawnmowers. You're simply going to take the robotic mower out of the box, put the charging station down, plug it in, put your LUBA or your UKA on charge, and then just get it to auto map your lawn, and that is it. It is that simple. This is so exciting, this technology from Mammotion. It's called iNavi. It's new for end of March 2025, early April 2025, when it's going to be available here in the UK. So I have it here on my machines, so I'm going to be setting this up to date and testing how well it works and just showing you how easy it is as well. So that is available on both the LUBA Mini and also the UKA Mini, as well as the later versions of some of the larger Mammotion lawnmowers, so robotic mowers. So for example, the LUBA 2 AWD X and the 2025 UKA model of the robotic mower, and that's across the whole range as well. And it's across the whole range of these, so from the 500, 600, 700, 800 of the UKA Mini, and the 1500 and the 800 of the LUBA Mini as well. So super excited to be trying out this iNavi service. If you would like to see a full review of this LUBA Mini AWD, then head on over to the easylawnmowing.co.uk website. There's also comparison tables there that will help you choose the right model of the LUBA Mini AWD. There's also helpful articles to help you choose between the LUBA Mini and also the UKA Mini as well. There's lots of helpful articles, discount codes, so head on over now to the easylawnmowing.co.uk website. Okay, so we're ready to go now to get this LUBA Mini AWD set up on my lawn. So we'll take it out now. I'm going to put a drone shot up now just to show you my lawn layout, and I'll show you the back lawn here, which is around 450 square meters. But naturally we're only cutting half because I have the UKA Mini there. I don't know if you can see that in the background, cutting half of the lawn. It's doing an absolute fantastic job. But I've saved the other half of the lawn to test out the LUBA Mini. It will then trundle off down the path here, down the side of the house, go out to the front and cut the front lawn. So I'm going to put a picture up now, a drone shot, just showing you that layout and what we're hoping to achieve with this LUBA Mini. Okay, so let's go, let's get it set up. Okay, so all that's left for us to do now is to get the charging station secured down to the lawn. So you need to pick a nice flat surface where there's no bumps, no slopes. So I'm just putting it here. So remember, you don't need to put this on your lawn. You can put it off of your lawn somewhere and create a channel to the charge station from the mowing zone to your charge station. So I'm just putting it on here for demonstration purposes, but this could go anywhere else. It can go even on a path somewhere, on a pathway. And then you can just create that channel to the charging station. But for quickness, I'm putting it here. So you need to make sure that it's on a nice flat surface. And you just use these 4 ground screws here just to peg it down. So I'm just going to do that now. And you get the Allen keys supplied as well. Okay, and also just before I do that, I just wanted to show you the LUBA 2 AWD and the LUBA Mini. So you can see the difference there in the cutting width. You have a single disc on this one, on the Mini, and a double cutting width there on the LUBA 2 AWD. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll get this screwed down. So remember, I'm not going to be using the RTK station because I already have the RTK station set up for the UKA. So I'm just going to be adding the LUBA Mini to the same RTK station that the UKA is using. Okay, so let's get these screwed down and then I can get the mower out, set up and out on a mow. Okay, so all that's left to do now is to get the LUBA Mini on the charge station, and we're ready to go. So remember, the LUBA Mini does have an auto mapping feature. So essentially I could just put it out onto this lawn here, say auto map it, and it will go round, it will find the perimeter, and it's job done. But because I've done half of my lawn with the Yuka, so I want to cut the other half with the LUBA Mini, I'm going to map this back lawn out manually, and then what I'll do is I'll auto map the front lawn, and I'll show you how the auto mapping works. So if you are interested to see how the RTK station is set up, so remember I did this in the Yuka Mini videos, so that you can go if you want to see specifically how to set up the RTK station for the Mini range and how to update it as well to get the new firmware on, then you can just go and view that video. But for now, with the LUBA, we're just going to put the base station here, put the mower on charge, and you should hear that it automatically turns on. Okay, like so. So I've got 4 lights here lit up. Let's give that a few seconds. Okay, and we're ready to go. So what I'll do now is I'll get the LUBA Mini added to my app. I'll show you that on the screen, and then we'll go out, map this area, and we're ready to go. Okay, so we're ready now to add the LUBA Mini to the Mammotion app. So what I'll do is I will record my screen so that I can just show you what I'm doing. Okay, so as you can see here in the app, I already have the RTK station set up for my Yuka. And if I go to the left, you can see there that I've got my Yuka there. I'm just going to reconnect to that. Yuka already installed, and there I have my LUBA 2 as well, which is offline at the moment. Okay, so what we want to do is just go one more there, and then we just want to click the add button. So you've got the add here, click add. So it's going to use Bluetooth essentially first of all to connect to the LUBA Mini, and you can see it there at the bottom. So the top one there is the RTK, that's already connected. You can see that with the blue link there. So I'm going to hit the plus button to add my LUBA Mini, and what should happen is if there's a firmware update, and I'm sure there is because Mammotion are constantly improving both the app and the firmware in their range of robotic lawnmowers. Okay, and what it would do now is it will ask me to connect to my network, my Wi-Fi network. So I'm going to select the Wi-Fi network, I'm going to enter in the password, hit join. And if I've got that correct, hopefully it will join the Wi-Fi. So remember, this does come with 1 month of 4G as well, and that will automatically activate. So what I'm going to do now, okay, that should connect to the RTK in a moment or two. I may need to just reboot. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to check for any updates, any firmware updates. So I'm going to go into the device information, and you can see there that it says there's a new version. So it's 1.12.801.200. So I'm going to select that, get that one click. The mower announces that it's upgrading. And you can see there that it's updating the firmware on that LUBA Mini. So currently I do have the Yuka out cutting my front lawn, so that's going to be trundling its way back shortly up the path and back onto its charging station next to the LUBA. So we just let this upgrade. Okay, so that's the firmware updated on the LUBA Mini. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set this out to map this area at the back here. We'll take it out the front and we'll auto map the front. So to do that, so I'm just going to share my phone screen again. Okay, so to do that, we go into our LUBA Mini. We press on the LUBA Mini. The bottom of the screen there, it says create map. So I'm going to create the map. It just gives me a little bit of help there. Next. Okay, and then it says start mapping a task area. So I'm going to click the play button. So I'm going to click here to leave. So that will automatically allow the LUBA Mini to come off of the charge station, ready for me to start mapping. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click the play button. Robot reached its destination. So this is where you would, method 1 would be for me to define the area or the auto mapping, which I'm going to be using in the front, and this auto maps absolutely incredibly well. Well, the Yuka does. I was so shocked. It was absolutely fantastic. It was better than me mapping it. I'm trying to get as close to the edge as possible, but when it auto maps, it does that for you. So I can't auto map here because you can probably notice here that the Yuka has cut this half of the lawn. So I'm going to give the LUBA some of the lawn, more of the lawn to cut so that you can see how well it cuts. So I need to do this manually. So I'm going to click the manual mapping. I'm going to click got it. It says start mapping the task area. I can also click the little robot there down in the bottom right hand screen if I want to switch from manual mapping to auto mapping. Okay, so we're going to manual map. So I'm going to drive the LUBA over to the area I want to start. Okay, so essentially it will be here. And then actually let me discard that. I'm going to start mapping the area again because I want to start from this point really. So let's do manual mapping again. Got it.
Start mapping a task area.
Okay, and off we go. So I'm just going to follow the path here. Actually, let me bring that back. What I want to do is really, I want to start over. So I'm going to discard that again.
Task area mapping completed.
So you can see here, you don't have to worry about getting it first time. So I really want to be starting on the uncut area. Like so, I'll overlap a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to click start again. Manual mapping, got it. And now we're ready to go. Okay, so the mower has now detected that's the starting point. So I'm going to click save.
Task area mapping completed.
And task area mapping completed. Okay, it's asking me to create a channel, but I will do that later. I will show you how to do that. So I'm going to click later. So that's our first area done. So as you can see, I've only done a small strip here because I just want to demonstrate how well the mower cuts and then how well it navigates down to my front lawn. Okay, so because I have created my cutting zone away from my charging station, so my charging station is not in the zone, I'm going to need to create a channel between the actual cutting area and back to the charging station. So what I'm do is I'll just record my screen again so I can show you how to do that. So you can see there I've got my area 1 and I've got my charging station over here. So what I'm going to do is go into map, I'm going to create, and I'm going to create a channel. Click got it, start mapping the channel. And then what I'm going to do is just drive the LUBA Mini over to the charge station to create that channel between the charging station and that zone. Hit save.
Channel mapping completed.
And then we've got channel mapping completed. So I now have a channel in place between that charging station there and the zone. So what I'm going to do now is drive the LUBA Mini out to the front, create that zone, and then using the channel again, as I just showed you, create a channel between the two zones, and then we'll be ready to turn on and get the grass cut with the LUBA Mini. Okay, so we've come out now to my front lawn to create another zone, a mowing zone, and then I'm going to link the two using a channel. So as I mentioned earlier, what I'm going to do with this zone is I'm going to auto map it. So what I will do is I will record my screen so that I can show you it actually working. So what I need to do first is just, what I'll do so that you can see it, is just essentially get the mower onto the perimeter to start with. So I'm just going to take it over to the edge there. Okay, so essentially I've just got the mower now on the perimeter. So I'm going to start mapping the task area, and instead of selecting method 1 now, I'm going to select method 2, which is the auto mapping. I'm going to hit start. And if we watch what the robot does, is it does such a fantastic job of getting really up close to the edge of the perimeter. So as you can see there, it's using its camera now to work its way around and to auto map this area. This is how simple this robotic mower is to use. Essentially, you just plug in that charge station, plug in your RTK station, pop it down on your lawn and let it auto define the lawn area or auto map that area to create your zone. And you can see there, it's doing an absolute incredible job. It's actually getting closer to the edge than I would if I was doing it manually. So really impressed with the auto mapping feature on this LUBA Mini. Okay, so what I'll do then is I will let this just go around this area here, map it out, and then I'll show you how to create the channel. Okay, so that's our second zone created here in the front. So now, I now need to create a channel between the two. So I'm just going to do that now and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so what I need to do is essentially just get the robotic mower into the zone. So I'm just going to drive it out there into the zone. I'm then going to create, hit the create button. So you can see the two areas there. So create, I'm going to create a channel. Got it. Start mapping. Start mapping a channel, and now all I need to do is just drive the LUBA Mini out to the other zone at the back, and that will create the channel for me. Okay, so that's it now. We're ready to go. We've mapped our two areas. We've made two channels, one channel from this zone to the charge station, and then a channel from this zone to the channel to the zone at the front, to my front lawn. If you would like to see a full review of this LUBA Mini AWD, then head on over to the easylawnmowing.co.uk website. There's also comparison tables there that will help you choose the right model of the LUBA Mini AWD. There's also helpful articles to help you choose between the LUBA Mini and also the Yuka Mini as well. There's lots of helpful articles, discount codes, so head on over now to the easylawnmowing.co.uk website. Okay, so let's go ahead and now and set this off on a mow. So what I'll do is I will get this back up on my screen so I can show you what I'm doing. Okay, so you can see there from the map, so I've got area 1, which is this strip here that I've defined, area 2, which is the front, and then you can see the two channels there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select mow, and then what I'll do is I will show you the actual way in which you can configure the mowing. So I want it to mow 1 and 2. So first of all, I want it to cut the lawn here, then go round to the front. And then I'm just going to confirm that. And now this is where you set your settings. So it's already estimating that it's 150 meters squared. It's going to take 93 minutes. But let's now go into the settings. So I'm going to click the default option there. So the cutting height is 40. So I want to reduce that down so that you can see it cutting here. So what I'm going to do is I will reduce it down to, let's go down to 25, which is quite a low cut here, but that will enable you to see it cutting. So we've got 25 millimeters there. The task speed, we'll speed that up just a little bit, I think. Let's go to, because we're not cutting a huge amount off, to 0.5. And then we've got the cutting angle, the cutting path. So here you have optimal, which is just going to take the long way and go up and down. You can do customize, and you can also do a random cutting path as well. When you go to customize there, you can change the angle at which it cuts at. You also have some more options here. So in terms of the way it's going to cut, so here I have zigzag path, which essentially means it's just going to go up and down and do one pass. If I select the chessboard, you can see there it's going to go up and down, and then it's going to go and cross, and that's going to give you a lovely checkerboard effect on your lawn. But for this demonstration, I'm just going to leave it on zigzag. And if we carry on down, so you've got perimeter mowing is on, so it will go around the perimeter twice once it's finished, just to go up to the edge, which is really nice. You can turn that off if you want. You also have obstacle detection. So I always leave this on standard. So remember, you have that front bumper on the LUBA Mini, but the camera is going to recognize it. And I'll put some obstacles in front of it whilst it's mowing, just to show you how that standard works. And in my opinion, that just seems to go round nicely without leaving too much uncut area around any obstacles. So I'm going to leave that on standard. And then coming down, you've got no-go zone mowing. So I haven't created any no-go zones. Very easy to create, just like we created the map of the area. You can just go around any obstacles, permanent obstacles, say trampolines, that kind of thing that's on your lawn, and you can set them as no-go areas. Very simple to do. So we don't actually have any no-go zones, so that's fine there. And that's pretty much it in terms of what you need to set to get it right. So what I'm going to do now, I've got it set how I want it, 25mm the cutting height. So all you need to do now, so you can naturally schedule this to go out, but I'm just going to hit start so that we get going and see how well it cuts. So I'm going to hit start. It's going to do a few checks there just to make sure everything is in order. I'm going to go to next. Okay, and then off it goes. It's now going to cut. So we'll let it cut a little bit. I'll show you it cutting. We'll do some obstacle avoidance tests, and then we'll see how well it navigates down to my front lawn. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just check the obstacle avoidance. I've got this child's toy that I'm just going to put in front of the robotic mower, and we're going to see what it does when it comes up to it. So you can see there that it's detected it and it's going to work its way round. Okay, really nicely there. It's gone around the toy, which is fantastic. It hasn't made contact with it, and that's not even on the sensitive mode, that's just on the standard mode. Okay, so I'm just going to try the obstacle avoidance again using this smaller tube here. Okay, and again, the robot has gone around it really nicely. It hasn't knocked it over. So that you can see there, its camera detects it at quite a way off. So if you have a dog on the lawn or something on the lawn, you can see here just how well this obstacle avoidance is working. So that's a real nice safety feature. Naturally, you also have the other safety features. If the robotic mower is lifted or tilted, it will automatically stop. The blades will stop as well. So really good safety features with this LUBA Mini. So the LUBA Mini now has finished cutting the zone. It's also gone around the edge and done the edge. And what it's doing now is it's going to head over to the path now and go down to the front. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pause it for a moment there, so that what I can do is switch cameras and just show you how this navigates down the path and out into the front lawn. But yeah, it's done a really fantastic job here. I gave it a lot to cut, really. There's a lot here. It's taken a lot of grass off, but it's done fantastically well. So naturally, if you're going to be using this regularly, it's just going to be taking fine amounts off there. But when it is given a challenging situation like this, it is more than capable of coping with that longer lawn. But what you can do is start high and then just work your settings down if you don't want to have this grass left on your lawn. But this is just a demo just to show you how well it cuts. Okay, so let me switch cameras now and we'll follow this out to the front lawn. Okay, so we're just coming up to my temporary ramp now. I am going to concrete that ramp, but I've just put this here temporarily. It's having absolutely no problems whatsoever finding its way down the side of the house now and out into the front lawn. It's going to find the narrow pathway here, no problem whatsoever. So it's going straight into my second zone, my front lawn. Okay, and then it should just start the blades once it's in position. You can hear the blades spinning up. And off it goes. Okay, so what I've done is I've come out now to try the LUBA out at night. So I just want to see how well it works in complete darkness. So what I'll do is I'll turn my torch off there. You can see exactly how dark we are out here in the back. There is absolutely no lighting whatsoever. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set the LUBA out, the LUBA Mini out to mow, and you'll see that headlight come on the front and we'll see how well it works. You can see there the light is come on. I'm going to turn my torch off now so you can actually see the LUBA there, LUBA Mini with its headlight on. Really powerful LED there. Okay, and there it goes. Absolutely fantastic there. Seeing this mowing at night. So I'm just going to come behind it. And there we go, you can see there the LUBA Mini with its headlight on. So you can schedule this to mow at night, absolutely no problems whatsoever. Okay, so that's my review of this LUBA Mini AWD from Mammotion. I am super impressed with this robotic mower. In terms of setting up, super simple. If you're put off by purchasing a robotic mower because you think it's going to be complicated to set up, it really isn't. It is super simple. And also you have that auto mapping feature as well, which I used on my front lawn. So you don't even have to define your own perimeter. It will do that for you as well. This is crazy technology in this robotic lawnmower at this price point. So what Mammotion have done here is by producing this mini series, they've opened up the market now to people with medium and smaller lawns. I even cut my really small lawn in the mid-terrace there, which my LUBA 2 really had problems navigating into the corners. It couldn't do it. It was just too big a robotic mower for that small lawn. So if you do have a medium to small lawn, this market now is opened up to you. This technology is opened up because in the Mini range, that's including the Yuka Mini as well. But the LUBA Mini in particular, that four-wheel drive that you've got there is absolutely incredible. So as with all of my reviews, I do go over the pros and cons of any lawnmower that I test. So I thought, what are the cons of this robotic mower? And I couldn't actually find any at all. So originally with the Mammotion lawnmowers, there wasn't service centres in the various countries, say in the UK for example, but even that has been corrected now. There's a service centre here in the UK, there's many in the US, they're in Germany as well. So I really couldn't find any faults with this robotic mower. What you're buying is what you get, and that is what I really like about this LUBA, this Mammotion. So in terms of cons then, there aren't any really. If you purchase this mower, you're going to get great support. There's a little button in the app that you can click that takes you straight through to a chat on support if you have any issues. But as you could see there, I set this up within 10-15 minutes. You're set up and you're ready to go. So in terms of the pros now with this, you've got that guidance system. You've got that AI camera on the front, that high definition camera, which is really guiding this around. You could see there with the detection of the objects on the lawn there, how well that worked, how well it goes around those obstacles on the lawn. Really fantastic. You also have the bumper here as well. You've got the light at the front, so this mower mows at night. It's incredible. You can set this off at night on a Friday night, and then weekend you come out and you've got a perfectly manicured lawn. Yes, I was cutting quite a bit off this go, that's why there's quite a lot of grass cuttings on the lawn, but keep this going and you're not going to have that. You're just going to have a well mulched, nutrient rich lawn using this robotic lawnmower. You've got the rain sensor there, you've got the integration with Alexa and Google as well. The other great thing about this LUBA Mini is the fact that you've got these Omni wheels. So even on my really small lawn with those really tight corners, there's been no scuffing, and it just handled, being that smaller compact size, it just handled that smaller lawn really well. You've got the 15 zones that you can create with this 1500, and remember with the 800 it's just 10 zones. So you've got that option even if you have a smaller lawn to go down to that 800, which makes it even more great value for money as well. Okay, so honestly, if you're having doubts about whether to purchase this robotic mower, it is just a great mower. Not only are you going to save time mowing your lawn, and you're going to have an absolutely fantastic manicured lawn, it is honestly so much fun. My neighbours either side are so fascinated by this technology. You can sit there with a glass of wine, watch this thing do its stuff. It actually takes sometimes more time sitting watching the mower than you could have done actually mowing the lawn. But having said that, you do have that option. It's just an amazing piece of equipment, an amazing piece of technology. You have that iNavi coming out in the UK in April 2025 as well, which is going to eliminate the need for the RTK station. You also have the 4G SIM built in as well, with that 1 month of free data there, which is renewable, easily renewable now through the app, thanks to a recent app update as well. So all in all, this LUBA Mini AWD is a fantastic robotic lawnmower, and it comes highly recommended. Okay, so if you're trying to make a decision between the Yuka Mini and the LUBA Mini, then the way I see it is this. So the LUBA Mini is four-wheel drive. So if you have steep slopes in your backyard or your back garden, then probably the LUBA Mini is going to be the better option for you, because it has that better traction with those four-wheel drives, so it can deal with much larger slopes than what the Yuka Mini can do. The other factor that I would take into consideration is the height adjustment on the Yuka is manual. So if you have two different zones and you want your back lawn to be slightly shorter than your front, for example, you can't do that automatically with the Yuka, but you can do that with the LUBA. So you can have those different heights in those different zones, which is fantastic. But apart from that, These two mowers are absolutely incredible. The technology that is packed into these two mowers, and for that price range as well, is absolutely fantastic. And you're not going to be disappointed with either one of these mowers, whichever one you choose. So either the LUBA Mini or the LUBA Mini. There's those different ranges, which essentially is the different size batteries that you can get. So you can even get the cost down even more to suit your smaller or medium size lawn. And that's where these minis come into play. Okay, so I hope you found this useful. Okay, so I know I'm going to be asked, the $1,000 question is, which one would I go for? Would it be the LUBA Mini or would it be the LUBA 2, the full size robotic mower? Well, for my lawn here, which is 450 square meters at the back and 90 square meters at the front, I would definitely go for the LUBA Mini. So in my opinion, I think it's down to your lawn size. I also have that small mid lawn there, and this dealt with that lawn really, really well. It navigated much better into the tight corners. It turned better because of being physically smaller. It just managed really, really well. And why have something that's designed for a lawn of 3,000 square meters when I only have 460, 470 square meters here? There really is no point paying that extra money. So this is where this LUBA Mini comes in. So if you have a larger lawn, a much larger lawn, then obviously, yes, this LUBA 2 AWD is going to be the better option. But for me here, if I had a choice between the two, they're almost identical in terms of what they can do. It's just that physical size and that maneuverability of the Mini, for me, is why I would go for that particular one. Okay, so if you found this review of this LUBA Mini AWD useful, could I please ask that you click the thumbs up button below this video? It'd be much appreciated. And why not hit that subscribe button as well? You will need to click the bell icon if you want to get notifications when I release any future videos. If you have any questions regarding the LUBA Mini or the LUBA Mini or any robotic lawnmower or lawnmower, please head on over to the easylawnmowing.co.uk website, where there's a Q&A section there that you can ask me anything, and I will happily answer that question within a couple of days. So head on over there now to the easylawnmowing.co.uk website, where you'll find lots of reviews, lots of comparison tables, and lots of help there to help you make an informed decision about your next robotic lawnmower. Thanks very much for watching this review, and I'll see you in the next one.